Good afternoon. I'd like to call the meeting to order at 5 p.m. Before we get started, I want to acknowledge that the land on which we gather is Treaty 2 land, traditional territory of Anishinaabe, Cree, Ojibwe Cree, Assiniboine, Dakota, and Dene peoples, and homeland of the Métis Nation. We affirm our commitment to moving forward in partnership with Indigenous communities in a spirit of collaboration and reconciliation. Motion moved by Councillor Ray, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that the regular council meeting agenda for today be amended. We have two additions. Addition 5A, a proclamation regarding Rotary Week, and item 11A, an invitation from the Manitoba Métis Federation for their annual regional meeting on August the 10th. All in favor of this change? Anyone opposed? Seeing none, motion is carried. Moved by Councillor Daly, seconded by Deputy Mayor Laughlin. Be it resolved that council now accepts the regular council meeting agenda as amended. All in favor? Opposed? None, carried. Moved by Councillor Daly, also seconded by Councillor Ray. Be it resolved that council waives the reading and accepts and approves the circulated minutes of the following meetings. And we have two sets of minutes from the regular council meeting of June the 24th and our special council meeting in June the 27th. All in favor of this resolution? Anyone opposed? Motion is carried. Moved by Councillor Ray, seconded by Deputy Mayor Laughlin. Be resolved that council now adjourns to hear the public hearing as scheduled. All in favor? Opposed? Seeing none, motion is carried. So this is a Planning Act public hearing, and we'll now proceed with the public hearing for the conditional use application. I'm going to read the number once and then just refer to it as conditional use application. It's application number 12, period 06, period 274300 / CU 240101 for the owner and the applicant, the City of Dauphin, care of Charlotte Griffiths, for Part Block 6, Plan 1299 DLTO, which is 524 3rd Street Southeast, to allow a provincially licensed child care center use in an open recreation zone. We'll now commence to hear representations from any members of the public who wish to make a presentation for this scheduled hearing under the Planning Act. Anyone who is not yet registered but wishes to make a presentation, please state your name and add to the list. Jane, you're here to watch or you're here to participate? To watch? Okay, and Martine, it's a staff person. So we have one person registered in advance, and that's on our agenda here. So to get the process started, I'd like to call on City Manager to speak in favor of the application.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So usually for part of a public hearing, or this part of a public hearing, the applicant would be speaking in favor of their proposal or of their project. And considering this is a city-led project, then that would be me. I have a report, and I will present some highlights of it. City of Dauphin was awarded a 120-space childcare facility through the Manitoba Education and Early Childhood Learning, the provincial government department of that, as part of the Canada-wide Early Learning and Childcare Agreement. And that agreement intends to create 23,000 new regulated not-for-profit childcare spaces in Manitoba by 2026. The information I'm presenting here is to support the placement of the childcare facility on Dauphin Recreation Services grounds. So the first part of my report talks about the Provincial Finance Assistance Agreement. So in February 2023, the province notified the city that we were awarded a daycare project. Through negotiation lasting about 9 months, on December 7th, 2023, the city entered into a funding agreement with the province for this project. Some of the highlights of the agreement are the total cost of the project is $5.84 million. Eligible costs that are covered by the province is $5.5 million, so the vast majority of it. Ineligible costs, that's costs covered by the city, is $340,000. That includes land, legal fees, zoning, surveying, variance, conditional use fees, like to go through this process, as well as administrative fees. And note that that 340,000 is some of it is in kind, so the land is valued in that, as well as the staff time that we would not pay to anybody else, but that's our staff time as well. So part of the conditions of the project are some requirements from the city. So the city is to provide approximately 2 acres of land. The city needs to provide utility services to the property line, and that's water and sewer. The city must own the land and the facility for 25 years. The city must provide lease-free operation of the childcare facility to a qualified provider for the first 15 years of that 25-year life. And through a proposal process, Parkland Campus Kids was chosen as our provider. The city needs to maintain the exterior of the building upon completion of the project, and that's capital and operational, and maintain the interior of the building upon completion of the project, which is capital and larger projects. Requirements of the province. So the province, through that $5.5 million grant, is to provide all aspects of designing, tendering, building the facility. And that is through a consultant who in coordination with the province. And so Sternberg Architects was chosen through a tender process for that. And then as part of that design, tender, build, etc., there's 4 city employees that are key people in the project. So the city manager, myself, our economic development manager, our director of public works and operations, and our building inspector. Second part of the report is choosing the location. So when choosing the location, we considered first lands that we already had in our possession or owned by us. So 2 pieces of land owned by the city that were large enough to have a 2-acre parcel, 2-acre space. One is some land that we have on the west side of Laura Street. That one was ruled out because currently it is zoned agriculture, and it is difficult to rezone agricultural land to any other zone through the province, unless all other avenues have been exhausted. Rezoning ag land away from ag is not a priority of the province. Secondly, there is water utility service there, but the wastewater would require a low pressure system or a lift station, both of which would be quite costly, about anywhere from between $100,000 and $400,000 for sewer. Second piece of land that we looked at was Dauphin Rec Services land in the downtown area, specifically a 2-acre parcel at the corner of 6th Avenue Southeast and 3rd Street Southeast. It was chosen because it could be easily serviced with water and wastewater. The location being on the recreation grounds seemed ideal for children to participate in all the offerings there. And it was provided for in the 1950 agreement, outlining future uses of the land, specifically listed as a youth services building. I want to note that we also considered other areas in the city that were not owned by the city. However, the requirement for 2-acre minimum, there were no other options available. And it's important to note the province required that the project to be complete by the spring of 2025. So there was virtually no time for a lengthy land purchase and subdivision process. The next part is legalities of developing on Dauphin Rec Services land. And we received a legal interpretation from separate legal counsel regarding that 1950 agreement. The interpretation is that the city has full authority to use the land for a child care facility, provided that the city does not impede the activities and affairs of the Dauphin Agricultural Society. And we believe that the child care facility placement will not impede those activities and affairs. So it is from that information gathering that I do recommend that the placement of the daycare goes onto a 2-acre parcel at the corner of 6th Ave Southeast and 3rd Street Southeast on Dauphin Rec land. Thank you.
Thanks, Charlotte. Does council or any member of council have questions for Charlotte or any clarifications required? Okay, further to that, I know Deputy City Manager Lisa Gaudette. We received a number of professional and/or personal reference letters and comments and emails from a number of significant stakeholders and representatives of other organizations. So Lisa, if you wanted to highlight some of those, please.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Boziak. Yes, the city received a number of very positive submissions in support of this conditional use application, and it's worthwhile, I think, taking a few minutes to review some of the highlights of these submissions. So the first is the building inspector's report. Our building inspector, Dave Durkach, he noted that the proposed daycare center will comply with all of the site and bulk table requirements of the City of Dauphin zoning bylaw, including all the setback requirements, site coverage, and off-street parking. He also notes that the city's new development plan, which is known as the City Plan, identifies the subject property location designated as a GA green area and corridor area, which allows schools and childcare centers adjacent to and within green areas and corridors. As we know, this city, the owner and applicant, obtained a zoning bylaw amendment to allow a childcare center as a conditional use in an open recreation zone. And here we are reviewing the next step in the process under the Planning Act, which is the application for conditional use for a childcare center at this specific location. And we do have a number of pages identified in the city plan that provide support for childcare centers in recreation zones. We have a memo submission from Martijn van Leeuwen, our economic development manager, who conducted research looking for examples of existing facilities in park settings in Canada. He says, in Canada, integrating childcare centers with recreation facilities is part of a broader initiative to improve community infrastructure and well-being. Locating a childcare center adjacent to recreation grounds or parks offers several benefits that enhance the physical, social, and emotional well-being of children. And he noted that within Manitoba, he found the following examples of facilities, daycare facilities in park settings. The Festival Early Learning Center is within the Red River X, and the Red River Exhibition Association is an agricultural society. Prairie Meadows Early Learning Center in Ile-de-Chêne is located within the recreation complex. Stonewall Childcare Centers, both are located on the edge of the park recreation grounds in what is obviously a subdivision adjacent to the soccer fields and sportsplex. St. Andrew's Childcare Incorporated is nature-based daycare on rec grounds, and Stony Mountain Daycare Center is in the same area as the school and the rec center with direct access to the rec grounds. We also have a number of other examples of childcare centers in recreation areas. We have examples from British Columbia in Lethbridge, Castlegar. We have examples from communities across Western Canada and in the City of Toronto. We have a letter from Ryan Vanderhayden, General Manager of Dauphin Rec Services, who addresses the concerns regarding the baseball diamonds. And he writes, regarding the baseball diamonds on the recreation grounds, we have found that there is no significant need for the diamonds. In the past year, they have only been used once, and even this usage could have been accommodated by adjusting the schedule for the other diamonds at the Sportsplex. We have a submission from Carol Stewart, Director of Parkland Campus of Assiniboine College, and she concludes, as a key stakeholder in our community's early childhood education sector, we appreciate the city's proactive and consultative approach to building collaborative relationships between families, educators, and community partners to support children's holistic development and well-being. We will continue to support and invest in the success of this important initiative. We also have a submission from Tom Carberry, Chair of the Parkland Assisted Living Incorporated at Laurie Manor. And Laurie Manor is a property neighboring the proposed daycare location. And Tom writes, on behalf of the board of Laurie Manor, I wish to convey to the mayor and council our support for the establishment of a new childcare facility in the city of Dauphin. We appreciate the dire need for childcare in this community and appreciate how much they contribute to the development of children in the community while supporting employment and educational opportunities for business and members of the community. We also have a submission from Alex Mann, who is the geological engineer and trail designer for Scatliff, Miller and Murray. And he writes actually quite a detailed submission, but I will present some of the highlights here. He says, I'm writing to express my opinion that the proposed location for a daycare facility at the Dauphin Agricultural Grounds is one of the best locations in the city. My opinion is both from the perspective of a local resident familiar with the city and a professional in the field of outdoor recreation. He also says, the proximity to the existing DRS facilities, outdoor hockey rink, movie theater, active transportation routes, residential areas, and now a proposed daycare sees the ag grounds becoming a hub within the city that ties all of this together. It becomes a true space for people. It could become Dauphin's equivalent to Winnipeg's Assiniboine Park. We have a submission from Stacy Penner, who is founder and co-funding chair of Mamawee Park. She writes, I am writing to express gratitude for your continued support and understanding of the significance of our project as a new recreation space in the heart of our city. With this addition and the planned daycare on the DMC grounds, it will not only enhance the park's offerings, but also breathe new life into a key piece of centrally located land. I believe that Mamawee Park, with the daycare included, will be a cornerstone of our city, promoting social engagement and enriching the lives of our residents. We have a submission from Kathy Sear, who is resident of Dauphin and also is the former provincial child care coordinator for the province of Manitoba for 28 years. She's also an active member of the South Parkland Healthy Child Coalition and currently an instructor with the Early Childhood Department of Assiniboine College. She writes that childcare not only helps the families with young children, but it also has an economic impact for communities, and I commend you on seeing the importance of this initiative for all your residents, young and old. She goes on to say, this location will allow families to access the program as well as other services close by. It will also enhance the quality of the program by enabling the staff to safely take the children to explore our community while out without walking on busy streets or long distances to experience and enjoy the other opportunities our community has to offer, such as the pool, where they can learn about safety in the water and how to swim. They would be close to the new Mamawee Park and have opportunities for some great physical literacy and fun. With the natural spaces close by, they will enjoy nature, learn to grow a garden, or perhaps be the keepers of a community garden in that part of town. The opportunities for our future citizens would be enormous, giving them the best advantage we can as they start their lives in Dauphin. We also have a lengthy submission from Urban Systems, who is the consulting firm who assisted the city in the creation of the development plan known as our city plan. And they're also undertaking the city's zoning bylaw review. So they're very, very familiar with Dauphin. And they provided a detailed submission outlining the benefits of a child care center at this location. I will read to you the concluding paragraph of their submission. The integration of childcare facilities within open space recreation areas offers numerous benefits, including enhanced childhood development, efficient land use, improved safety, and increased community interaction. This approach not only maximizes the utility of public spaces, but also promotes a healthier, more connected, and sustainable community. The proposed use conforms with the vision, goals, and objectives of the city plan and is directly supported by the policies articulated for green areas in the city. And last, I'd like to read this submission in its entirety. This is a submission by Brian Johnson, who is the preeminent recreation consultant in Canada. He works for RC Strategies, which is the biggest recreation consulting company in Canada, and I think his words warrant a full read. He says, Dear Mayor Boziak, I recently had the opportunity to review all the plans for the future of your fairgrounds site. I just thought I would write to say how impressed I am with your city's plans for that whole area. You should be so proud of what you and your consultants have come up with, and I wish you great success in implementing those plans. Let me add a few points in support of your efforts. Communities across the country are trying to make the change from what has worked well in the past to meeting the needs of the future. But frankly, few are able to work against the power of entrenched thinking of the old days and resistance to change. It seems you have been able to do that. Features like the pump track, climbing wall, toboggan hill, and slide are so in keeping with current trends and future needs. And your plan to add a daycare center is also so on point and appropriate that your community will thank you for it in the future. Almost every community I've worked with in Western Canada over the past decade, and as you know, that includes over 100 communities, large and small, has planned for adding daycare centers and or preschool program centers to their major recreation complexes and sites. The synergy of caring for our youngest community members in a setting that instills an active, healthy, outdoor-oriented lifestyle just makes so much sense. This plan to add the daycare center to the site is brilliant. It is so consistent with a positive shift in thinking from recreation sites being about fun and games and a few special events each year to recreation sites being a social utility that contributes to the health and well-being of our community and citizens of all ages. I can just imagine preschoolers spending a good portion of each day, summer and winter, outdoors on the site in active, healthy play on many of the amenities that exist now and will be provided. Congratulations, well done, and good luck. And that concludes the submissions in support of this conditional use application.
Thank you, Lisa. There isn't anyone present? Did we receive any clarification? Sorry. Any clarification or anything that Lisa presented? Any questions from council? So other than what's been presented on our behalf, is there anyone else that wants to speak in favor of the submission? So then the question, is there anyone who wants to make a presentation in opposition? There's no one here. So I would say, Sean, that's just a flinch, sorry. Okay. So I'd like to then state that the representations for the public hearing are now completed. So council, we have heard some information regarding our application. I'm just wondering, has enough information been presented to make a decision? Council? All right then. So moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Councillor Ray, be it resolved that council now reconvenes to our regular council meeting. All in favor? And a motion moved by Councillor Ray, seconded by Councillor Daly, be it resolved that the public hearing for conditional use application on behalf of the City of Dauphin for Part Block 6, Plan 1299, which is the daycare location on 524 3rd Street Southeast, be now concluded. All in favor? Anyone opposed? And moved now by Deputy Mayor Loughlin and seconded by Councillor Sobering. Whereas due notice was given with respect to the conditional use application, and whereas no objections to this application were received, be resolved that the conditional use application for the City of Dauphin to allow provincially licensed daycare in an open recreational zone located at 524 3rd Street Southeast be approved with the following conditions: that the owner applicant be required to obtain the required building and development permits prior to construction, that the owner will be responsible for developing access to the site and for the costs of a new sewer and water branch connection from the street to the building, and that the city commits to discussions with the Dauphin Agricultural Society to create an agreement between our entities commencing January the 1st of 2025. All those in favor of this motion? Anyone opposed? Seeing none, call the resolution carried. All right. So now we'll move to the consent agenda. The conditional use hearing is now complete. Janie, Martine, you're welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting, but most people would probably have, get a tooth pulled or go cut some grass or something. Thanks, Janie. See you. Okay. All right, we'll move to the consent agenda items. We have a couple of action items. We have 2 proclamations. We have 1 proclamation about Canada's National Ukrainian Festival. I'd like to call on Councillor Ray for that.
Thank you, Mayor. Whereas Canada's National Ukrainian Festival will be celebrating its 59th anniversary on the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th day of August 2024, and whereas Canada's National Ukrainian Festival has, with assistance of many volunteers, attracted tourists from all over the world to visit the city of Dauphin, and whereas this year marks 133 years since Canada's first Ukrainian settlers crossed the Atlantic to begin a new life on the prairie homestead, and whereas 133 years of Ukrainian-Canadian involvement in the cultural, economic, political, social, and spiritual life of our city, province, and country is being celebrated. Now, therefore, we, the Council of the City of Dauphin, do hereby proclaim July 29th to August 4th, 2024 as Canada's National Ukrainian Festival Week.
Thank you, Councillor Ray. We have another proclamation about Rotary Week, and I'll call on Rotarian Councillor Bellemare.
Thank you, and I'll just start with a bit of a preamble. So interestingly, you'll see that Rotary is 100 years old, but it also coincides with a special visitor. So Rotary is worldwide. There's a worldwide president, and she happens to have relatives or ancestors in Ethelbert, and she's coming to Dauphin at the same time as the anniversary. So it's just interesting how the stars align sometime, and great things are planned for her visit. Whereas the Dauphin Rotary Club was chartered on August 7th, 1924, and has been dedicated to community service and improving the quality of life in Dauphin for 100 years. And whereas the Dauphin Rotary Club has undertaken numerous projects and initiatives that have significantly contributed to the betterment of our community. And whereas the Dauphin Rotary Club's commitment to service above self has inspired generations of Dauphin citizens and organizations to engage in community service and philanthropy. And whereas the Dauphin Rotary Club is celebrating its 100th anniversary with various events, including providing tours of the city and Rotary-sponsored projects, and hosting Rotary International President Dr. Stephanie Urchik of Pennsylvania, USA. Now, therefore, we, the Council of the City of Dauphin, do hereby proclaim August 4th to 10th, 2024 as Rotary Week, dated in Dauphin this day. Signed by our Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Bellemare. And congratulations both the Ukraine Festival and Rotary Club. We have a couple of outstanding receivable accounts that are added to taxes. Roll number 0006900 in the amount of $164.63 for parking lot sanding, and roll number 0051300 for $425.50, and that's for temporary storage, as recommended by the Director of Finance and our tax clerk. We have an outstanding water account, which is also added to taxes, and that's roll number 0006900 in the amount of $2,886.13. The owner did not pay their utility bill, and that's also recommended by the Director of Finance. We have a number of filing items from the Multi-Material Stewardship Manitoba, their 2023 annual report, from Community Futures Parkland, their July newsletter, a news release from the province, their transportation infrastructure, consultations to improve highway safety, and a notice in regarding to environmental and climate change, the aquatic invasive species prevention and response plan, and free provincial park entry, and that's been recommended by the mayor and the city manager. Moved by Councillor Daly, seconded by Councillor Ray. Be resolved that these items under consent agenda be approved and form part of these minutes. All in favor? Opposed? Seeing none, motion is carried. Moved by Counselor Bellemare, seconded by Counselor Sobering, be resolved that we accept as information the corporate report for the meeting from the city manager, and that's the report for June. Charlotte, is there any highlight or anything you want to bring our attention to in your report?
I think what I'll say is that this week marks my 13th year anniversary working for the city of Dauphin. So thank you to staff for 13 years of good work and support, and to various councils. This is the 4th council that I work with, and the community. What a wonderful place to call home and to call work and to live and play in. So thank you.
Thank you. And since the Tour de France is on right now and the rider with number 13 has his number upside down for good luck, is your name tag upside down or anything for?
I think I did put my name
Maybe.
tag upside down by
Well,
mistake this
You
morning.
might
and it
want
was a
to,
bit-
considering
yeah,
it's the
okay.
13th year.
Okay.
Not that anyone is superstitious, but, all right, all in favor? Anyone opposed? Any questions for Charlotte before we? Too late. Already called for the question. Moved by Counselor Daly, seconded by Counselor Sobering. Be it resolved that we accept the corporate report from the Deputy City Manager also for the month of June. And Lisa, who maybe has got her voice back after reading all those things. But Lisa, do you want to highlight some things in your report?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Boziak. I thought I would just highlight a few points in animal services, since this seems to be an area that is of interest to members of the community. The ASO, the new Animal Services Officer, started on June 25th and has really hit the ground running. He's been a pleasure to work with. The whole Barkland team are quite phenomenal, to be honest. And the Animal Services Officer has already taken in numerous dogs and cats into the Animal Retention Center. It's been very busy. Just wanted to remind residents that all dogs and cats in the city need to be licensed and kept from roaming off their property. Dogs and cats at large are subject to an $80 capture fee if they're unlicensed, $40 if licensed, and boarding fees if applicable. And if the problem is repetitive, additional fines will be applied. I also wanted to note that in June, we launched our City of Dauphin Animal Services Facebook and Instagram pages, and I've been managing all the posts and the messenger responses, and it's been very encouraging to see the lively and community engagement on these pages. And I can really sense that our residents appreciate this communication regarding dogs and cats lost and found and animal-related education and services. June also saw the rollout of our new city-subsidized spay and neuter assistance program, which provides financial assistance towards spay or neuter of licensed city dogs and cats. And our social media posts advertising SNAP were shared hundreds of times and generated engagement from accounts across the province. Dauphin is taking a leadership role in animal services, and I believe other municipalities will follow suit in making progressive changes that will ultimately provide support to overstretched animal rescue volunteers. That's all for today. Thank you.
Any questions or comments for Lisa from members of council? All in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion is carried. Moved by Councillor Ray, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that we accept the corporate report from our ICT manager for the month of June. Questions or comments regarding that report? Councillor Sobering?
I just always like to point out the electric vehicle level 3 charger revenue coming in. It's always great to see that cash flow from a good renewable project. And the one thing, I don't know if anyone read through the whole thing, but it sounds like Thompson and the PAW now have EV level 3. So if you have an electric vehicle, maybe that's a road trip time. But that's all.
Thanks, Councillor Sobering. Charlotte?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, I also wanted to talk a little bit about the EV3. So we used to say that we were the only rapid charger location in Manitoba, north of the Trans-Canada, but now we have to say that we're the first because there's more. And second, this was just added today, so council may not have had a chance to take a look at it, but we have been graphing the usage of the monthly number of times or number of charges since January 2021, actually. And so the trend is that this is being used more. So in July of 21, there was maybe 18 charges. In July or August of 22, there was about 28 charges. And in, it looks like July of 23, there's about 40 charges. So, so far, we're not done. in July of 24. So we're looking forward to see if that trend does keep going up. The number is not good right now for July, and we're wondering if August might be better. Perhaps people were just not traveling as much or not vacationing as much because our spring has been so cool and wet and whatnot. But the trend is trending upward. So it's good.
Anyone else? I'll call for the question then. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion is carried. Moved by Deputy Mayor Loughlin, seconded by Councillor Bellemare, be resolved that the finance accounts being examined by council hereby be approved and authorized. And we had 86 checks in the last check run for a total of $1,408,907.37. We had no voided checks, and we had 3 voided checks in past ranges. All lost, 3 checks that were lost or misdirected through the mail. And in the month of June, we had 4 electronic payments for a total of $198,759.52. Questions or comments regarding the finance report? All in favor? Opposed? Motion is carried. Moved by Councillor Daly, seconded by Councillor Sobering, be resolved that we accept this information, the engineering staff report from the building inspector for the month of June. Questions or comments regarding the building inspector's report? All in favor of accepting that report? Anyone opposed? Carried. Moved by Councillor Sobering, seconded by Councillor Ray, be resolved that council accepts the protective services report from the animal control officer for the month of June. Questions or comments regarding this report? Councillor Bellemare.
Yeah, I was just wondering, are we going to follow a similar format for our next report as we move forward, or do you have ideas on how it may look different?
I think it will look quite different, actually. I'm working out processes with the new ASO, but I think we're looking for more meaningful data on these reports. The number of cats and dogs at large, the number that are brought into the retention center, the number that are reclaimed, the number that go into shelters, the number that are adopted directly. I think that's the kind of information really that would be most meaningful for us to know. So I'm working with the ASO to develop some categories that like I don't think we really need categories for verbal warnings, written warnings, that kind of thing. I think we need some real data that will actually mean something. So I'm working on that with the ASO for the next report.
Just further to that, is there any other member of council that has any recommendations for that or for Lisa? And I'm assuming that, Lisa, you'd be open to having discussion with any member of council or anyone who has a particular interest for our furry friends to, come up with reasonable data.
Absolutely. If there's certain information that you think you would like to see monthly that would be meaningful, I think I'm more than welcome to. You're more than welcome to let me know.
Okay. So then call for the question. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Seeing none, motion is carried. Moved by Councillor Ray, seconded by Deputy Mayor Loughlin, be resolved that we accept as information minutes from the following committees. We had the regular board meeting of the Intermountain Watershed District, meeting of April 18th, the Communities in Bloom, May 23rd, regular meeting, and the Dauphin and District Allied Arts Council. They presented their 2023 financial statement, and they also held their annual general meeting on June the 25th. Questions or comments regarding any of these reports? Councillor Bellemare.
Just a comment, the floor in the Watson building has been replaced. There's just a few finishing touches, but make sure you go there this fall and be prepared to be amazed.
Or go there tomorrow and be amazed. Hey, be amazed anytime, right?
Sure, why wait for fall? Do it
Wait
now.
for fall. Call for the question. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion is carried. Moved by Councillor Daly and seconded by Deputy Mayor Loughlin. Whereas radon is a radioactive gas that comes from the soil and enters homes and buildings as a carcinogen that causes more than 3,000 deaths per year in Canada. And whereas radon is the leading cause of lung cancer in non-smokers and greatly increases a smoker's risk of developing lung cancer. And whereas in November 2020, 2023, the city partnered with Health Canada's Take Action on Radon initiative, which we provided 200 free radon test kits to Dauphin residents, and the results indicated that 92% of homes tested were above Health Canada's 200 BQM threshold. Mitigation, where mitigation is strongly recommended. Be it resolved that council accepts this information, a memo dated July 12th from the Deputy City Manager advising that Health Canada's Radiation Protection Bureau is offering radon outreach contribution program funding of $15,000 per year for 3 years to assist the City of Dauphin with developing a radon action plan, which requires submission of a funding proposal and a letter of support from the city. Further be resolved that council recognizes the importance of radon education, testing, and mitigation to ensure safe levels of radon in the homes, businesses, and workplaces in our community, and authorizes a letter supporting the application to the Radon Outreach Program for funding to assist with the development of a radon action plan. Further be resolved that council authorizes Health Canada's Radon Outreach Contribution Program proposal and funding agreement to be signed and sealed by the mayor and city manager on behalf of the city. Questions or comments regarding this resolution? All in favor? Opposition? Seeing none, motion is carried. Moved by Councillor Sobering, seconded by Councillor Daly, be it resolved that bylaw 05, 2024, being a bylaw of the City of Dauphin, amending bylaw 05, 2019 to close a public walkway and authorize the sale of land, be now read a first time. All in favor? Opposed? None? Carried. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Deputy Mayor Lachlan. Be it resolved that council accepts this information, the following invitations from the Manitoba Métis Federation, their Northwest Annual Regional Meeting on August the 10th. That's a letter inviting the mayor. We'll have to discuss that. That's my son's wedding, so I won't be in the community, but we'll have to figure out, I think it'd be very appropriate that we had a representation at that meeting. From the town of Carberry, unveiling a memorial for the June 15th accident, which is August the 11th, which also is the same weekend of my son's wedding. So I think Fire Chief Cam Avery will be representing the city because that's also the opening weekend of the Manitoba Summer Games, which many of us are involved in. And the third invitation, the 24 Manitoba Summer Games, opening ceremonies and VIP receptions for the opening on the 11th and the closing on the 17th. Further be resolved that any expenses related to council and senior management attending these events be funded and borne by the City of Dauphin. All in favor? Opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you. Moved by Deputy Mayor Lachlan, seconded by Councillor Ray. Be resolved that council accepts the information regarding the following community events. Tim Hortons Camp Day, which is being held on July the 17th. Canada's National Ukrainian Festival, which is the August 2nd to 4th long weekend. And the Royal Canadian Mounted Police Musical Ride, which is on August the 3rd. Questions or comments regarding this information? All in favor? Opposed? Seeing none, motion is carried. Now we get into the council reports. Where should we start today? Who's ready to start? Who? Councillor Daly wiggled his finger, so we'll start with Councillor Daly.
Why wouldn't I? Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On June 24th, attended the last regular council meeting. June 25th, I traveled to Minnedosa for a provincial vet boards meeting that was geared towards all vet boards in the province trying to work collaboratively to recruit and retain veterinarians in the province. On June 27th, I attended a special council meeting here in Chambers. June 29th, I rode in the Ag Society parade. No one was injured, so that worked out really well. June 28th, I attended the MMF Community Advisory Board meeting. July 8th, I'm sorry, I attended the advisory board meeting. And just to note that Dauphin Kings alumni Miles Fee, assistant coach of the Florida Panthers, is bringing Lord Stanley the Cup to Dauphin on Saturday, July 20th. There's a group of us, including the deputy mayor, working to make that a fun event for everybody in town. So spread the word. You don't have to be a Panthers fan. You can take your photo standing beside the cup and just pretend it's like the Oilers or the Jets or something. That's my report.
We're the Montreal Canadiens, right, Randy? Yeah, and the Habs. Councillor Ray, you're next.
Thank you, Mayor. June 24th, I attended the last regular council meeting. On the 26th, I attended the Finance Committee meeting at noon and then took part in the CSWB Community of Practice Zoom meeting in the afternoon. On the 27th, I was present at the special council meeting held here at City Hall. From the 27th to the 30th, I volunteered at Country Fest selling 50/50, and I'd just like to mention that we broke our record in sales on Saturday with a total pot of $64,000, which was won locally, which was great. July 8th, I was part of the CSWB Teams meeting with CCFSC. July 9th, I spent some time at the DFC trade show where I helped distribute our CSWB surveys to various people that hadn't filled them out yet. July 10th, I attended a 2-hour webinar on the monitoring of the outcomes and impacts of the community safety and well-being plans. And there's another session coming up on the 24th. July 12th, Mayor Boziak and I attended the 50th anniversary Blast from the Past celebration at the Dauphin Friendship Center. Big congratulations goes out to all the DFC staff at reaching this milestone. The programs that they offer and the help that they provide to a wide range of our citizens should be commended. And that ends my report.
Thank you, Councillor Ray. Councillor Bellemare.
Thank you. Council work on June 25th. I attended a community safety and well-being meeting, plus the Watson held their annual general meeting, complete with elections. The 26th, the community safety and well-being teams meeting, and the 27th, the special council meeting. On the 29th, I rode my comfort bike in the Ag Fair with Councillor Daly and Mayor Boziak. No accidents for me either. And on the 8th, community safety and well-being project team meeting on Teams. And on the 9th, cemetery HR meeting. Plus, we also met with a landscape architect about a plan for future columbarium development. So we're starting to get going on that big initiative. Community events. I attended Country Fest this year for the first time as a paying member rather than a volunteer. And I was really impressed. The size of the crowd, there was lots of people there, the decorum of people attending. There was just great variety in the music and the food and the entertainment. So I think the board deserves a big congratulations for organizing a great show. And kudos to the people in our community who are so patiently navigating all the construction at the south end. I know you try and get to Safeway and the entrance kind of changes from one trip to the next, but people seem to be patient. And those guys are working Friday nights and Sunday mornings, and it's just getting done. And also check out what's happening at the DRCSS track. The basketball court there is being painted this week, and the running track was rubberized last week. So lots of big changes in our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Bellemare. Councillor Sticalo.
Thank you, Mayor Boziak. For myself, June 27th regular council meeting, and I was in attendance for the June 27th special council meeting as well. I did get a chance to attend the AMM district meeting on June 25th as well in Swan River. And that ends my report. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor. I guess I can't call you Councillor. Oh, you sort of are, but
yeah, it's fine.
Deputy Mayor Lachlan.
No, it's fine. No worries. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. For me, a few things. June 24th, the regular council meeting here at City Hall. As Councillor Sticalo mentioned, I too was at that Parkland District meeting for the Association of Manitoba Municipalities in Swan River. Just want to say kudos to Swan River. They did a great job hosting the event. And in the process, I was also reelected as the resolutions chair for the Parkland District. On the 26th, we had the audit and finance meeting here at City Hall, and that was followed up by that, as mentioned, special council meeting on the 27th. And lastly, on the 28th to the 30th, I too attended Dauphin's Country Fest. Just want to say congratulations to the board and everybody involved. It was, at least it looked like a very successful event this year, and that's great to see. And that ends my report.
Thank you. And Councillor Sobering.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On the June 24th, I attended the regular council meeting, and then again the 27th, the special council meeting virtually. I attended a Riverside Cemetery meeting on the 24th, and I also was with Kathy, meeting with Anna from Scatliff to discuss future plans for Columbaria. I also attended on the 26th a Manitoba Sustainable Energy Association meeting as they're working on a pre-feasibility study. I can't talk much about it, but it's just to explore opportunities in Manitoba for renewable energy and sustainable energy. And Dauphin is working with them on this initiative, so it's very good. It's we are one of the communities they selected. So other than that, I have nothing else to report.
Thank you, Councillor Sobring. I'm not going to spend too much time going over specifics. I just wanted to add a couple of generalities based on what Councillor Ray was saying. I think attending the couple of events at the Friendship Center over the past week, I think it's a significant milestone for that organization to be in our community for 50 years. And the number of people that they've impacted, whether through program participants, members of the community who require some assistance or some help. And then I know it was kind of interesting to hear from Susie Secord, the current acting executive director and board chairperson. She's a founding board member of that organization. So for someone to be involved with an organization for 50 years truly shows her dedication. So I wanted to publicly just acknowledge the contribution that Susie has made to the Friendship Center in particular, but also what was most interesting about something that she had said during her presentation was the fact that there are now second and third generation volunteers at the Friendship Center of people who were going there for assistance or help or as a member of, in a program, funded program or otherwise. And so the notion of the Friendship Center turning people with needs into people who are helping others with needs. And so it was interesting to be there and to have discussions with a few people, but just to see that the value that so many people in our community. And I think that one thing I just want to advise us is to not take an organization like that for granted. That when that much time is put into something and developing something over time and the significant contribution it makes to our community, I think is immeasurable. So hats off, kudos to them. And finally, I want to provide the same kind of hats off, congratulation, and this may sound a bit self-serving, but to council and to staff. We're almost 2 years into our mandate, and I've been spending a considerable amount of time here at City Hall working on a number of different initiatives, and to see the amount of work that staff has had to deal with, considering a number of, I would call them hiccups that are no fault of anyone's, but you play the hand you're dealt. And I would particularly like to mention our finance manager, who has navigated the last several months being understaffed because of circumstances beyond our control and having some family circumstances in the middle of all of that. And then to deal with a major goof by the province with the new tax bills, and to get everything in on time and out on time is beyond expectation, sort of, in a sense. And so hats off to Scott. I know that Mike Van Alstyne has been working his tail off. The South End stuff, the lagoon, Buckled Bridge, the regular stuff that happens in the city during the summer, and handled it with class. And then I see the work that our deputy city manager has done in the last couple months without a bylaw officer, with a very tumultuous animal services program, and to manage and handle all of that and still do all of the regular work. I saw Martine from Economic Development at Country Fest and at doing the back end work on the June 15th memorial unveiling, and then assisting with the art center in the park promo and running around, with like a cat with its hair on fire, but getting stuff done. And then finally, I've seen Charla manage all of this and never says a dirty word in public, but never complains, just does the work. The amount of work that's been necessary in the last couple weeks, getting ready for this conditional use and other things, and to just manage, and then the level of expertise in any memos, briefings, notes that I've been provided with is far beyond what I had expected. So I just want to say, and to council for being involved in the committees, and I know that I gave you some suggestions when we first were elected and 3 of you were reelected, that I wanted to aim for efficiency. I wanted to aim for doing the right thing and helping where help was needed, and to get out of places we weren't needed or we weren't providing any support. And you've done that with amazing regularity and no complaints. I've had literally no counselors sneaking into my office going, "What about that guy? What about her?" So we've had just a tremendous working relationship over this almost 2 years now, and I just wanted to acknowledge that at the halfway point, that it could be a lot worse. So again, thank you everyone for doing everything that you do. And that concludes my brief summary. So moved by Councillor Stakilo, seconded by Councillor Daly, be resolved that we accept as information the council reports for our meeting of July 15th. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Seeing none, motion is carried. Moved by Councillor Ray, seconded by Deputy Mayor Laughlin. Council be adjourned at 6:50 or 5:55 p.m. All in favor?